Ex-husband ghosts ex-wife racks up a huge bill he clearly didn't think things through. My compliance was malicious for the ex-husband. I'm working in the billing queue in a call center for one of big three telcos, and a client calls in regarding a billing concern. This lady calls in, is puzzled by why she got charged a one-time fee of $49 for a wireless access point, its Gen 1 equipment for wireless setup, top boxes for optic TV. She's even more puzzled, why would she have that charge when she doesn't have TV services from us? And I inform her that it started more or less a month ago. She's disputing that because optic TV isn't available in her area. Now I'm confused. She lives in a small town and there's no optic TV there. I did a little digging and found out that someone, no ex-husband, was still on her account and got a 3-year contract to get a free TV for optic TV and internet. She begins to cry on the phone and tells me her now ex-husband had an affair with a younger woman, divorced her, milked her for as much as he could, and apparently still is milking her for more. He totally ghosted her, moved to Alberta, changed his email, phone number, blocked her on all social media, etc. In my mind, I'm like, what a D-head. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. If you cancel the services, you're on hook to pay for cancellation fees and so on. I can tell her, though, I can remove his access to your account, and you can also add on a password, downgrade the internet and TV to the bare essentials, and I can attempt to redirect the TV gift from his address to hers, but there's no guarantee as it's been processed already. I can hear the light going off in her head. Wait, what? Where is he living now? Why, yes, he's got TV and internet services, so there's a service address. She goes really quiet, says her lawyer and herself have been trying to track him down, but his family and friends are being tight-lipped about it. She asks if I'm allowed to give that info to her. I smile and reply, "This is your account. You have unrestricted access for service address, phone numbers, emails that your now ex-husband provided to us to get hooked up." She asks if I can give her his new address, his new cell number, and the second number left on the account, presumably the new woman, and contact info over the phone right now. I ask if she had a pen and paper handy. She was so ecstatic, and after giving her all the details from her account regarding the second service address, downgrade everything, and he was a hockey fan and there was a game playing right now with his team, so I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when the game cuts out and he calls in to ask what the F, and discovers he's been removed and there's an account pin and he's been discovered by his ex-wife and lawyer. You know, I wasn't entirely sure how this story could end up having a happy ending, but that does sound at least like a satisfying ending, to say the very least. Like, what an absolute scumbag to be opening up an account in her name with like her info and stuff. Like, that has to be illegal, right? Was he really that desperate for TV and internet and stuff that he would like illegally open up that account with her stuff or like connected to her? And then think that she wouldn't somehow find out, that you wouldn't eventually contact her or something along those lines? I guess he just assumed that she would ignore the charges or something like that, which, yeah, what an absolute a-hole. I'm very happy that he got caught. He sounds like a just kind of miserable person in general. And boy, I hope his ex-wife and her lawyer just had an absolute field day with that, because, man, just what a scuzzy move. And just get your own internet and stuff, for Christ's sake. My dad is furious that my mom slept with other people in an open marriage he wanted. My parents got married when they were super young. My dad knocked up my mom and their parents married them off. My grandfather was able to set up some business for my dad in a big city, and they moved here soon after my birth. My mom grew up in a conservative southern town where she was taught to be a submissive wife, and even after moving to the big city, she didn't spend much time socializing. She had no friends and never went out. My dad was only there to provide for us. He was always away on business, and he wasn't there as a husband for my mom or as a father to me. My dad made a lot of money, so we never lacked anything. Growing up, I became my mom's best friend. We would talk about everything. I pushed her to make friends and to find hobbies. After years of pushing, she started going to a nearby park and made her first friend, a gym trainer. Encouraged by her friend in mind, she decided to join the gym. She met a few more people there and started having some semblance of a social life, but she still continued to tell me everything. I think my dad's new secretary gave him the idea, but he asked my mom for an open marriage almost a year ago. He told her he wasn't happy in their marriage and that she wasn't providing him with everything he wanted. My mom, who is a Christian wife, was mortified and told me about the proposal in tears. I suggested she get a divorce, but she said she didn't believe in it and she wouldn't be the one to end their marriage. As my dad pushed, I knew exactly where this would end up if my mom agreed. Her friend and I convinced her. My mom was hesitant at first, but she agreed with the condition that they would be completely transparent with each other. My dad was a middle-aged 41-year-old man with a belly, and my mom, 39, was an athletic woman who worked out regularly. I'm a 22-year-old woman, by the way. I don't know how my dad was so blind or what he thought would happen. I helped create online dating profiles for my mom almost 6 months ago. After getting an insane number of matches, choosing from them and chatting with them for months, my mom started hooking up with a few people. Getting all this attention has provided a massive boost to her confidence, and she seems better. My dad hooked up with his secretary almost immediately. He's had very little luck with other ladies. With their transparency thing, my mom tells him about all her hookups. A few weeks ago, my dad screamed at my mom for some minor thing. Usually my mom would have apologized, but with her new confidence, she didn't back down. It's been constant fights the last few weeks. My dad keeps starting fights by making snide remarks about my mom's clothing or appearance. He almost even called my mom a W, but stopped himself. I think open marriage finally sunk in. My mom told me he tried to have a conversation about stopping their open marriage, but she immediately shot it down. I think they'll split up. My dad was never there for either of us, but the thought of my parents splitting up still feels weird. I don't feel bad for my dad, but I wish he put effort into his family. I'm happy for my mom, though. Update. A few days after my previous post, my dad left our home and had a divorce served to mom in a week. My grandparents didn't know about any of this, but my dad told them when he served the divorce. He also implied to them that my mom was cheating on him. Both sets of grandparents came to our home and started berating my mom. I kept screenshots of all my parents' communications and my mom showed them to them, and it got way worse after that. Grandparents started fighting each other, blaming each other's children for causing all this. A few days after this, my mom's old church friends came to our home. Back when my mom used to go to church, they used to look down on her for being from a small town. My mom has always been a very caring and non-judgmental person, so she disagreed with their bigotry, and they began excluding her from their activities. After she met her gym friends, my mom stopped going to church entirely. These church friends started calling my mom an S, and she kicked them out. My mom is on a cut right now, so she has very defined abs and arms. So along with all the normal stuff getting thrown at her, my grandparents accused her of having a man's body, and she also had a lot of random transphobia thrown at her. Her trainer friend has been a great support throughout all this. She contacted the attorney she used for her divorce, and my mom is spending a lot of time at her house. Turns out the business my dad is running is owned by mom. It was set up by my mom's dad in her name, so it belongs to her. I did not know this until now and assumed that my dad owned it. The whole situation is a huge mess right now. Dad is living in some hotel and my grandparents left yesterday after a week of fighting and trying to force my parents back together. I know there's a lot more divorce drama to come, but I hope it calms down for now. First off, the biggest props to that mom who is my age. Which also, I mean, I've been getting kind of fit. I get it. I'm down with her. That's awesome. Because A, she was forced into a marriage, essentially. Like, at that age, you're being forced into it. She did not seem like the kind of person to stand up to her parents. Probably didn't want that or whatever. And good on her for finding some confidence. She deserves that. Good golly, that's awesome, you know? And That open marriage, yeah, I think the moment you knew right from the beginning, Dad was going to go for the secretary, but it was going to be a marriage ender. Like an open marriage when their relationship has not been that for so long, the chances of it working out, especially with the sounds of how they both are, that was destined to fail right off the bat, I think. But in a way, that's good for your mom because she clearly deserves more. You know, she is working on her life herself. She's still got so much life ahead of her and stuff that she can do. And you know what? I hope she doesn't let her parents or your dad get in the way of that. She deserves to live a full and happy life, and it sounds like she's finally starting to do that. Harass my daughter on Minecraft? You can't hide from me. So, my daughter, who was about 8 at the time, was really into Minecraft, as most kids are these days. Also, desperately wanting to join the YouTube Let's Play culture, I had installed some screen recording software that would let her make videos of the game she was playing so she could later upload them to YouTube. Anyways, one day I'm minding my own business when I hear her quietly sniffling over the computer. I asked her what was wrong, but she didn't want to tell me, so I let it go, but decided to keep an eye on her. A few minutes later, I discovered what was happening. Someone was harassing not only her, but also all the other kids playing on whatever server she was on. This kid, we'll call him Little Craphead or LS, was saying crap about how he was going to R my 8-year-old daughter. She told him how old she was, hoping he would stop. How he was going to hack into her IP and steal all her info, swearing profusely. Remember, this is a game for kids, etc., etc. By this time, I had gotten my fiancée involved, and she was also obviously quite upset at what a little crap this kid was being. We realized that our daughter had been recording the entire incident, and a plan began to form. I started by Googling LS's username. There were several hits immediately, the most interesting of which involved a page where he was publicly applying to be a mod for a server on Minecraft. I was able to learn a lot about this little POS. He claimed to be 15, likes hockey, used to live in Toronto but now lives in Florida, but the bombshell was easily his Skype contact info. It was literally first name dot last name. I know your name now, you little crap. So I head over to Facebook and search for the name. Nothing. On a hunch, I searched for just the last name while narrowing my results to only the state of Florida. Several dozen hits. So I have to start combing through each one until I find what I was looking for. A middle-aged man with the same last name whose profile indicates he was born in Toronto and now lives in Florida. I found your dad, you little crap. So I sent him a message on Facebook asking if he had a son named First Name who goes by his username on Minecraft. Dad confirmed I had the right guy, so my wife begins telling the dad everything that LS was saying to my daughter, and we sent him the recorded video as proof. Radio silence for a few days. Then we got the message back. LS had his computer taken away from him for the entire summer and had also been lying about his age. He was only 11, I think. His parents were effing livid with him, and he surely hated the next few months of his life. No one F's with my daughter. This is why I get so worried about, like, young kids and stuff being on the internet, because there are just some real jack-offs out there. Just people who will say some of the worst stuff you can imagine. And especially a little kid, 8 years old, being subjected to that, that is awful. But good on this dad for friggin' doing some detective work and hunting this kid down and letting his parents know what a little crap he was. Because, man, that kid needs to learn a lesson, and it sounds like is learning that lesson. Like, seriously, parents, when you got little kids on the internet, I feel like there's something, well, even for adults on the internet, the anonymity of being online and just getting to say whatever you want because, you know, most people aren't putting their face or real name out there and stuff. It's just, it really lets people be their worst selves. And for little kids, especially, what a bad thing for them to be learning right off the bat. So parents, monitor your kids' use of this stuff. But also, I don't know how, can you lock Minecraft servers or password protect them or something? Like, protect your daughter from these creeps, because holy crap, that just... Imagine if it was someone worse. That could actually be really scary. So yeah, protect your kids, and other parents, keep an eye in case your kids are being absolute monsters online, and do something about it.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.